So very briefly, let's have a look at the development of psychoneuroimmunology to where it is today in the 21st century. The first 20 years of studies in PNI showed in a multitude of ways that the nervous system, endocrine and immune systems are linked. That there is not a shadow of doubt that cognition, emotion and health, that psychological factors and physical factors influence each other. Then in the late 90s and through to today, initially it was identified that stress is immunosuppressant and that stress compromises our health and well-being, be it physical stress or psychological stress. And then there was a natural progression. Okay, if we know that stress is immunosuppressant, then what can things that decrease stress do to our health and well-being? Also, over these years, the lab techniques and the scientific applications of examining the body and our physiology have become more and more sophisticated. So the biomarkers that we look at are becoming more microscopic and more detailed. So initially, 30 years ago, we could say stress is bad for your cardiovascular system. Now we're looking not just at systems, not only at organs, not only at certain types of tissues, not only at a cellular level, also at a molecular level, at genetic expression, and very, very detailed biochemical and physiological pathways. So that evidence now is strong that the nervous, endocrine and immune systems talk to each other 24 hours a day. Where we're at in, that says 2024, but we're 2026, is looking at what interventions can we use today that is evidence-based that can enhance both physical and psychological well-being. All of this has led to a growth in very targeted immunotherapy. So cancer treatments have become more specific and less harmful in some respects. There's been this incredible growth of lifestyle medicine. And lifestyle medicine mainly deals with chronic conditions. As our lifespan increases, so does the possibility of chronicity of chronic conditions, chronic inflammation and chronic distress. And things like relaxation therapy, which is my particular area of interest, are supported by the evidence of PNI. Psychoneuroimmunology used to be psychosomatic medicine. There's an area called Psychoneuroimmunoendocrinology. Okay, difficult to say. All these terms effectively mean the same thing, which is looking at how our cognition, our thoughts, our neurological function affect our endocrine and hormonal system and our emotional states, and how together and individually they affect immunity and our health. So whether you call it neuroimmunomodulation, I quite like the term behavioural neuroscience, and I think that's more appropriate or perhaps recognisable to psychologists, counsellors, psychotherapists. I do tend to sometimes use psychosocial biological science because it's looking at all these factors, and perhaps more and more lay people are using the term or understand the term mind-body science. They are all describing the same or very similar things, that research and science and evidence shows us that we simply, in all consciousness, cannot separate our mind from our body. As I mentioned before, the research has gone from this broad systems understanding right through to understanding that distress and things like relaxation or exercise or nutrition actually change the messages that our genes are sending out. So genetic expression is different when we're distressed compared to when we're healthier. PNI also looks at the impact of epigenetics, external factors, on our genetic expression. I classify chronic conditions, it says conditions there, but it should be chronic conditions, as the mood disorders, all the different types of pain. There are numerous different types of sleep disorders. There are inflammatory conditions and different types of trauma. We know very often that these chronic conditions influence each other. They work together, and some of them influence our psychology, some of them influence our physiology. They influence both. Chronicity we need to break the cycle of these chronic conditions. Treatments can fall under psychological behavioural interventions, more lifestyle interventions such as movement and exercise, nutrition and relaxation to decrease stress. And of course there's pharmacological interventions as well. But PNI looks at all of this broadly. So I started off by defining psychoneuroimmunology as the interactions between the nervous, endocrine and immune systems, and this is how it works. So the nervous system can talk to the immune system and vice versa. The immune system can talk to the endocrine system and vice versa, and nervous and endocrine systems. And all of this works through their chemical messengers, molecules that belong to one of these three systems. So neurotransmitters are the chemical messengers of the nervous system. Hormones are the chemical messengers of the endocrine system. And cytokines are the chemical messengers of the immune system. Neuropeptides, neurotransmitters talk to different hormones, which talk to different cytokines. There's this biochemical wash of conversation and interactions.